going up. Curtain going up. Places, please. Palmetto, stand by.
Ladies and gentlemen, she comes to you from the cornfields of Indiana. She loves the Constitution more than she likes most people. Allow me to introduce Shouse in the House.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shouse in the House. I'm your host, literally Heather, and I know you are so excited for this episode. You guys have been begging for it, and I finally was able to make it happen. I'm very excited. I have Palmetto State Armory with me today, and specifically Josiah and Cameron. And I'm going to let them kind of introduce themselves and talk about like what their roles are within the organization. But first of all, thank you, gentlemen, very much for joining me today. I very much appreciate it. I'd like to start with you guys, what your role is, how long you've been with the company. Josiah, I know you are a bit longer than Cameron, I think, but kind of talk about how you got started. And then if you don't care, to kind of segue into how Palmetto State Armory came to be in the first place. Because entering the gun world, like if you are somebody who's been into guns for any amount of time, you know, you hear the traditional names like SIG and Remington and stuff like that. And so you're coming into a market that has been in place for decades, eons, centuries. Not really, but you know what I mean. So can you kind of talk me through how you guys decided to enter the game and what that's been like for you guys? Josiah, I'll start with you.
Yeah. So I can kind of segue into how PSA started. Cameron, do you want to just give a quick intro into what you do in the company? Then I'll go as far as how PSA started.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so my name's Cameron. I've been with the company 7.5 years, going to be 8 years here soon. I started at the company as a compliance manager, did a lot of the ATF side of things in the manufacturing side. And then I moved up to a corporate kind of compliance role where I kind of traveled around, went all over to our sister companies and all of our FFLs and just made sure that we were good, all the guns and all that. And then I moved on to quality control. I ran quality control for about 2 years. And then I ran manufacturing, assembly and all that for about another 2.5 years. And now my current role is brand manager for Palmetto State Armory. So my job is to kind of keep PSA pushing into the future. I work a lot with the engineering team on aesthetics, design, style. One of my babies, my project that I worked on was the Saber line, our new AR-15 line that we launched at SHOT Show. So that whole project was mine. So I do a lot of a little, I guess I should say. Like I have hands kind of in a lot of different projects. I do a lot, with Josiah on the social media side. Josiah handles a lot of the forum side. I do a lot with the Facebook, Instagram, even helping out people on Twitter, and talking to people on Twitter and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, I love what we do. I love who we are. I love our guns. I'm very passionate. I'm a gun guy. I love doing like all this cool stuff behind me here. A lot of that stuff is what I've done and what I've worked on. So, the goal for me though is to try and push PSA into the future, to kind of keep us going, be connected with customers, kind of get some feedback and go back and forth with them going forward and working on some new gun projects and other accessory projects.
Awesome. Josiah, you want to give us a background of you and then segue?
Yeah, absolutely. So as an employee, I've been with a PSA for a little over 8 years now. My role in the company, I've got a couple different ones. Number one, affiliate marketing manager. I deal with a lot of different, folks who are YouTubers, websites who promote PSA stuff, as well as, yes, Heather.
There's a QR code that is in the top of your screen right now. If you want to take a picture of that and go to PSA's website, it won't hurt my feelings at all.
There you go. So I do affiliate marketing, and then I do consumer relations too, like Cameron was talking about. I hit a lot of the forums like AR15.com and whatnot. And then I handle when customers have issues that they get frustrated with, can't seem to be solved through normal channels. I help out there. I do tours of PSA, and then Cameron and I hit all the podcasts that we can. So a lot of, like Cameron said, a lot of different, our hands are in a lot of different pots. As far as the beginning of the company, I was an owner for the first 5 years. So my total is about 13 and a half, maybe a little bit more. But for the first 5 years, I was an owner. Jamin and I started the company out of his garage. we both were basically tired of our jobs and we wanted something new. And so we threw around some ideas, and PSA is long story short, ultimately what we landed on. And we started with 4 products. They were magazines: Black Dog Machine mags, Checkmate Industry mags, Magpul mags, and I'm forgetting. There's something else, but there's 4 Lancer mags. So we started off selling those out of the garage and doing gun shows. And within the first 2 months, we expanded. We started buying from Wolf. We got Wolf ammunition and Privy Partisan, and then Obama got elected, and things went crazy. So,
Right.
but the start of the company was basically just processing online orders during the week, and then gun shows on the weekends. Then Obama got elected, things went crazy, and then as far as where the manufacturing started, we used to buy Magpul PMags from DSG, Defense Solutions Group, and instead of them shipping us a box of PMags, they shipped us a box of buffer tubes. My brother pulled one out and he said, "Ooh, this is cool. We need to start making ARs now." So out of that buffer tube shipment, we were horizontally integrated. We started calling different companies. We had another company making lowers for us, and we got other people to do it for us. And then as election cycles and different things happen in the world, when things would get real tight, we would kind of get pinched off. So my brother's like, you know what? Let's start this vertical integration. Let's start making the stuff ourselves. So that's what led to him buying DC Machine, from basically now making every part of the AR to now we're making almost everything on Dagger, AKs, and whatnot. So that really started the pinching of the supply chains during tough times led to him doing what he's doing today, which is vertical integration. And our main thing in the background is being a manufacturer. That's mainly what we do, is manufacturing, but we do it for ourselves.
So I want to talk about that transition, right? When you guys started really getting into the manufacturing side yourselves, were you accepted within the community? Like, did you feel like the other industries were like, great, we have a new competitor, but we're all here for the same purpose? Do you feel like, Cameron's like, no. I'm curious how your reception has been within the community. I know you guys are like the Amazon of guns now at this point. And I say that like not in jest, like you have coffee now, you have like you guys are starting to expand and literally be the one-stop shop for everything you would need for firearms. And that is amazing, and why I love you guys as an organization, why I wanted to partner with you. Like it's just, I have so much respect for you guys as an organization. So I'm kind of curious to see, are you viewed as a disruptor in the market, or are you viewed as one of the organizations?
A little bit of both. I'll let Cameron talk on it too, but it's a little bit of both. There are some companies, I'm not going to name which ones, they absolutely love us.
I'm not asking you to name drop.
Oh, no,
I'm
no.
just, yeah.
No. They absolutely love us. My brother's got the cell phones of some of the CEOs, and they talk and stuff. Not anything like insider, but just like, hey, this brace band thing is going on. Can we partner together and different things like that? Like we have the lawsuit in the 8th Circuit with FRAC and its industry folks. But there is a lot of pushback because we are taking a lot of market share on the ARs, AKs, now pistols. So there is pushback from other companies. Absolutely.
Talk to me about the pushback.
Is it
Cameron?
my turn now?
Yeah, it's your turn, Cameron.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. So, I mean, like kind of like what Josiah said, there are a lot of people in the industry. Like, I think sometimes in the firearms industry, sometimes it could be cancerous, right? And I don't want to necessarily say that against other firearm companies, but the firearms community will.
Yes.
Call it, okay. So obviously, when we're selling $500 ARs, everyone's like, "Oh, it sucks. It's low tier. It's garbage. Yada yada yada." Okay, whatever, right? Well, we also do things differently than 95% of these other companies, right? We're not selling to a distributor. We're selling direct to consumer, so we can cut out that middleman price. Like we don't have to have that middle price where we have to sell it to the distributor at this price and the distributor has to mark it up. Like, we don't have that. Like, our whole business model is direct to consumer. So we can avoid having those other layers and bring the price down. The other side of it is we make almost everything that we use. So we don't have these inflated prices. Like, I mean, during COVID, what we saw during COVID, it was like the greatest boom bust, right? I mean, it was sales, 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 sales. Like, you
Right.
can't make enough, right? Well, when you're sending out parts to go to an outside anodizing service, they now control your destiny of whether or not
Right.
you are going to get the parts back, right? So you can make as many parts as you want, but if you can't get them out of the anodizing line, well, guess what? You can't sell it, right?
Right.
So what we did was we said, screw it. We're going to put our own anodizing line in. And that's what we did. And that's who we are as a company, right? And so that's like trying to take it to the next level. We're controlling our own destiny, right? But at the same time, I think people are starting to realize, and I don't say this in a negative manner when I say this, but we are the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and you are going to have to understand who we are, what we do, and what we stand for, because we're coming. And if you don't recognize that, then I don't know what to tell you. But I can promise you this: we're not here to take part; we're here to take over. Like,
It is my favorite line that you say. It's like, it is my all-time favorite. I love it so much.
Yeah, I embody that, right? Like, I mean, that we take this stuff, I take it personal, right?
Yeah.
So that was some of the reason why we went into the Sabre line, and we did the Sabre line, because everyone's like, oh, well, they don't have a Microbest BCG in it. They don't have this. They don't have a Springco spring. They don't have this. So I called these other companies, and I'm like, hey, we want to use your parts, right? Great. Yeah, let's do it, right? These other, like, again, going back to the firearms community thing, like, it's not necessarily the other companies, it's the people in the community, right? The
Right.
internet, the consumer in the community are what makes it kind of more toxic-ish in a sense sometimes. But these other companies, they all want to, like, at the end of the day, we got to try and build each other up, right? You know,
Yeah.
high tide raise all ships, right? Like, that's like the mindset, right? And so we offer the Sabre line now, right? Where it's not a $500 AR anymore. It's an $800 to $1,000, $1,100 AR. It's got a little bit more expensive parts in it. It's out of the box, ready to go. And so now we're dipping into the toes, and now we're bringing out some more haters, because now we're like offering a gun that's competitive.
Why are you so expensive now? Yeah. Like,
that. And it's like, well, now you're selling a gun that I was told for the last 5 years you guys didn't make, and it's not on the same level as X, Y, and Z
right.
manufacturer that are selling them for $1,500 to $1,800, but now here you are selling it for still $800 to $900, right?
Right. And they're pissed because they've overpaid. Yeah.
Correct. So, but at the end of the day, I'm worried about making sure that we are getting enough product out to the law-abiding citizens who want freedom in their hands, and that is our job every single day. And we take that personally here. And so that's what we do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just want to throw in there too, we get a lot of hate from small local gun shops, and even from larger, ones that I won't name, but very well known. They even have an online presence, because they think that we're trying to put them out of business. That's not the case. We're in it for the Second Amendment, and people who join with us in wanting to spread freedom. And it's about the Second Amendment. It's not just about making money. It's about the Second Amendment. So what my brother did is he bought DPMS in the Remington bankruptcy, and DPMS it's not a token. It's a genuine effort to show, small local gun shops and even some medium-sized ones that, hey, we're here to support you as well. Because when PSA dealers, they get sold lower for $49.99, and then ours, the price of ours on the website drops to $39.99. They get really ticked off. So my brother bought DPMS that is dealer only. It doesn't take the traditional PSA model of direct to consumer. So it goes through distribution, goes through dealer. We have our own dealer portal, so they can come in and buy it. It's map protected. It's got MSRP and all that on there. So my brother wanted to make it known as well that we're in here for the Second Amendment. And part of that is helping out small local gun shops staying in business. Yeah, because without them, we couldn't do our transfers either.
Yeah, right. And to that point too, like with the DPMS side, we also did the same side of things on the AK side, right? So on the AK side, there's not like readily available parts, right? So there's a lot of guys that like to build AKs in their own home with the 20-ton shot presses and like even small time builders, right? Well, they're building kit guns, right? So when people buy a kit gun that's a demilled kit from, some con block country, well, then they rebuild it. Well, sometimes when you get those kits, parts are bad, right? And
Right.
then they have to replace them. Well, then now they're on the search trying to find all these parts, right? No one is just selling forged trunnions on the shelf anymore. You can't get those. So
Right.
on the 8K side, like to Josiah's point about helping, like we had a lot of 8K people come out, like the builders and the small shops who were doing one-offs didn't really like us because we were taking away some of the business in a sense to them. But what we
Sure.
saw is we saw it as an opportunity to build the AK community. So now on our website, you can go on our website, you can buy just a gas block, you can buy a front sight base, you can buy a rear sight base, all the rivets, the parts, the bullet guides, stuff that you can't find anywhere. We sell now, and that is to help people grow the community. It's not that we're trying to dominate and take over the entire firearms community or market. We're trying to help build everything up. Again, high tides raise all ships. Like that is the
Right.
whole point of what we do here, right? But sometimes that's get convoluted because people think we're stepping on their toes.
I want to go back to a point that you made about the community being a little bit toxic. And Josiah and I have discussed this before, but I kind of want to hear your take on this, Cameron. One of the things when I first came into the community, I've been shooting guns since I was a kid. I've been hunting, I've been hanging out with my dad. Like it's been an important thing in my family my entire life. And when I first started getting into like the gun community, like the best way I know how to word that, um, it's really interesting the gatekeeping that goes on. It's they want to talk about how they want everyone to have firearms, but it only can be cool firearms. And you got to have this Gucci gear or I don't really want to like hang out with you because you have this crap, and they'll find pictures of people in stores that have, you know, holsters that don't fit their firearms or, whatever. And then they make fun of those people.
Yep.
And that is frustrating for me for two reasons. Number one, I have a personal goal of putting a firearm in the hand of every female in the country. And I hate moms demand action with a passion that I can't even begin to describe to you guys. Like they are nothing but a domestic terrorist organization as far as I'm concerned. And this is coming from me. This is not reflecting on Palmetto State in any way, shape, or form. Just want to be clear about that real fast. But with that being said, what they're doing is wrong. They're teaching women to be afraid. Go get some mace. That's just as effective. And it's like, nope. The gun is the equalizer. That is the only way a woman is going to be as powerful as the person standing across from them trying to rape them. And so what I see is in this gatekeeping, when you have this environment that is, you feel like you have to know everything about guns, you have to own all of the really good stuff, or you're not cool enough to come in. And I feel like that creates a barrier to entry for a lot of people in the gun community. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, no, yeah, 1,000%. I mean, 1,000%. I mean, at the end of the day, training is more, if you don't train, then it doesn't matter how high expensive of a firearm you're buying. If you're not training and doing classes and actively trying to get better and train with a firearm, then you're not doing yourself any justice, right? So that's another topic in itself, right? But yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. So when we first started getting back into the AK market in like 18, 19, Josiah?
18, yeah.
Yeah, like the GF3 line when we came back out with the GF3 line. Obviously, the mindset of the AK side is that if it's not from a con block country, if it's American made, it's a piece of shit, right?
Right.
And so we invested a lot of money into the AK line to do this. And not only did we invest into the AK in our AK line, we invested into the AK community, right? And that was kind
Yeah.
of back to the topic I was just talking about by offering these parts, right? But it's a lot of money in tooling, R&D, and all this stuff to get this right. And so the AK community it's a rough place. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like it's a rough place.
Very snobby. It is
Yeah,
very snobby.
I joke
Very
about
much.
it all the time.
We had
Like,
to leave a forum we were on
yeah,
because we were getting called really nasty things, and I mean
yeah.
there was nothing but hate for us. Even though,
Yeah, so I mean, I make a joke all the time. The AK community is worse than the 45 ACP guy, right? That's like, right? Why do I carry a 45? Because they don't make a 46, right? That kind of guy. But so the AK community, I mean, obviously over the years has gotten a lot better, right? Because I think there's a lot of people out there in the market that understand that if it wasn't for PSA, and I don't say this in a cocky way, but if it wasn't for PSA, I don't know where the AK community would be today, right? Especially with our sister
The embargoes on Russia and all of that stuff.
like,
Yeah.
even like our sister company, AAC Ammo is getting ready to tool up to make steel case ammo. Like, where would we be if it wasn't for that, right? Every day in my DMs, I'm getting hit up like, hey, when's the steel case coming? I can't find it anywhere. The price is too high. Oh, that's available, right? Like, that is a big deal, right? So
Yeah.
again, that aspect of it. But, like there's other American-made companies out there that are making 7.62 by 39 AKs. But there are no other AK companies out there that are making a 5.56 AK, a 5.5
Right.
by 39 AK, right? We have almost 600 SKUs of AKs on our website, right? That's unheard of, right? You can go to these other firearms companies, again, I'm not saying they're good or bad, these other AK community companies, but they might have 3, right? Or 2, right? But they're being, highly touted as like the best of the best and all that stuff. Well, we're trying to push the envelope a little bit. Now, obviously that comes with also sometimes you have things that happen in that when you're trying to push the envelope and keep going, there are sometimes things happen. And so we are not perfect by all means, but at the same time, it's not about being perfect in my mind. It's about what do you do to try and be better every single day. And I feel like we are constantly putting our best foot forward. We care about our customers. We care about what we do. If there's an issue, we're talking to them, we're helping them, we're jumping in on it. And that's why I'm very involved on social media. Josiah's involved on social media. Like, we're all in this together to grow us. And so I know I kind of went off tangent there talking about
That's okay.
of things. But again, yes, in a nutshell, the firearms community, a lot of times it does get a little frustrating when, with like, hey, sometimes we need to build each other up and not beat each other down. And I feel like a lot of companies that are in the firearms industry are recognizing that. So like, you don't see as much like jibber jabber going back and forth anymore. Like people used to comment, like companies used to comment on our posts, like talking crap or joking, and we would comment back and joke back. But that's not really like that anymore. It's just more of like the trolls per se that are always commenting on it.
Yeah,
Right.
no matter what we do, even with the ammunition, you've got the naysayers out there. Whether I'm going to use a very basic example from the beginning of the company of what we experienced, kind of as we were entering the market, when we just gun shows. So every weekend we were doing 1 or 2 gun shows, and because of our pricing, we were looked upon very, very badly. Gun shows are not, you don't find good deals at gun shows. And we had basically, they were all getting together. Not all of them, but a lot of these gun shows, they're all getting together and they're like, hey, we're going to sell a Magpul PMag. We're all agreeing to sell it for right about the same price, 15,
yep,
16 bucks. We were selling it for 13. And I had the promoter of the gun show. He came to my table and said, you need to raise your price to $16. And I said, no, that's price fixing. He's like, you going to prove it? And he said, either raise it to 16
You're
or
standing at my table right now. That's proof enough for me, dumbass.
Exactly. So we got kicked out of that gun show because we didn't, because we had 2 tables and a bunch of shit on those tables. There were other people, he said, hey, she bought 16 tables and she's selling for, anyway, it was pretty crazy. But sometimes that small analogy, it's not as bad anymore as that. But that type of attitude used to be a lot more prevalent in the firearms community, but it's not near as bad anymore. But the barriers, when you're getting into different industries, you do get a lot of pushback. And we got that even when we were starting PSA. They didn't like the fact that we were low on price. They did everything they could to stop that, but in the end, they couldn't.
I want to go back to a comment. I think, Cameron, you were talking about this. about sometimes products that are inexpensive are viewed as cheap. There's nothing about a gun that's cheap. Like, it's all guns have function to them, right? Unless we're talking about, well, okay, I'm not going to say the name of that company, but um I almost fucked up right there. But when you got the products that you put in the hands of clients, they're not cheaply made. So I want you to talk a little bit about why you guys as a company have decided you're really cutting your own nose off in spite of your face as an organization from a profitability perspective. With the product that you guys are putting out, they are very good firearms, but you guys are choosing not to fuck people over as far as the price is concerned. And I want you to talk about why that's the case, because I think sometimes, again, people, we're conditioned as consumers to think, oh, if it's inexpensive, it's cheap, it's not good, it's kitschy, it's gonna break down on you or whatever. Talk a little bit about why you guys decided to do that. Like, what's the purpose for you guys?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the laws and the stuff that is being struck down, or like one of the biggest terms that is being tossed in there is common use, right? And so the goal.
It's because of the New York v. Bruin situation.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so the goal for us is to, again, spread as much freedom as possible into common use, right? And that's how you get it out there. So, touching base on what Josiah said about the vertical integration thing and how we're able to sell it so cheap, our goal as a company is to get it into common use. It's not to make the most money, right? We would rather take a lower margin hit on a firearm and sell 2 of them to make up the difference than sell 1 of them at a higher margin, right? That's just the way our business has been found, right? Jamin, and even Josiah in the beginning when they started this company, the whole point of it was to get as much of this into the people's hands as possible for common use. And so that's how we do it. We do it over quantity versus, higher margin items. And that is just who we are, and it's in our foundation, and it's what we do. I mean, even like the way our shop is set up, our manufacturing facility here, where the assembly and everything goes, it's like everything we do is to try and get it out efficiently, and get it out right away, right? So new stuff. Like today alone, I created 12 new SKUs for the website. Right? Like, I mean, and they're being built right now. I literally just got the pictures sent to my email. As soon as I get off of this, I'm going to get them enabled, put on the website, and they're going to be for sale today.
That's awesome.
That's how fast things happen, right? And that's why when you control your own destiny, you can do that, right? We have a production meeting every day at 9 in the morning. And at 9 in the morning, we already kind of have a plan of what we're building and all that stuff. But it's like, hey, well, let's run, last week we ran like a daily deal on a 5.56 AKM, right? And in the morning, it's not like we had 500 of them sitting on the shelf waiting to be sold. It was like, hey, let's build up an extra 100 today and let's put them on a daily deal and see how they do, right?
Right.
That's what we did. And so we go out to the floor and we now start building the hell out of these guns, get them built, get them out the same day. Now they're up for sale. They sell out. So the next day we do another 200, right?
Right.
And going like that. But then we have the flexibility in the company because of how much we make ourselves and we control our own destiny. We can do fun things like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. I want to ask 2 more of my own questions, and then I'm going to go to some of the questions that the guys had in online. This is kind of a twofold question, and it's mostly about SIG. So they have their Rose collection that they just came out with, and then they also have their Micro P365. And you guys have the SKU on the site, but it's never in stock. So I'm curious if the micro version of the dagger is coming out anytime soon, and I'm going to tell you guys why. So I took my daughter with me. You guys got to meet her at the NRA convention, and she fell in love with the PS365 the P365. And she loves it. And I'm like, well, I would rather you have a dagger. So can we just wait till their micro comes out and then you can have that instead? So I am curious because her birthday was yesterday. That's what she was going to get. So hint, hint, nudge, nudge, is that coming? And then are you guys looking at doing anything to kind of target the female audience? Are you guys looking for, as a girl who loves guns, we kind of like colors. Like, I'm not going to lie. That's the entry level for women into guns. Like, oh, it's pretty, I'm going to buy it.
I think
Yeah.
so the micro dagger frames are still a little ways out. Not gonna lie to you. We will have the slides. Like, we have the slides for sale right now, and then we'll have the magazine available here shortly. But the frames are still a little ways out. I don't have a hard ETA on that. I don't want to commit to anything because I don't want you to get mad at me.
Oh,
And
I'm not going to get mad at Ainsley. Will get mad at you. So that's,
I don't. I will say that there has been conversations about different colored frames, and different color slides and stuff, right? But at the end of the day, here's going to be the determining factor, right? Everything we do is mass producible. Okay. So if that market share is only 20 guns a day, well, that I don't know how
doesn't make it profitable.
profitable that is going to be. Now, I will say it has been a topic of conversation. So it is being talked about, and I 1,000% agree with what you're saying. Like, having an idea on bringing in the female shooter and the female market into this space is
Right.
a good idea. So again, I don't have anything hard data as when the complete micro dagger will be available, or colors, but I will say that the colors are definitely being talked about.
Yeah, what we're saying right now is the micro dagger will be this year. Just other than that, not 100% sure.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to some of these questions that the guys have asked. So the first one is the exact same question that I just asked. Okay. Estimated time of arrival on consumer level custom shop, and if in works or not at all, would it be something that you guys consider?
That's shadesy.
Yeah.
I know, it's solid. So again, it kind of goes back to the conversation about mass producible, right? So our whole business model is based around mass production, and that's kind of the mindset. So I will say this. So if you see, and I know you probably see it, maybe some of your viewers and some of the other people have not seen it yet, but that is why when I did the Saber line and how I did the AK line, we are doing things that people are doing one-off wise, right? For example,
Right.
we had a lot of people that were buying our AKs, sending them out to a gunsmith to get it chopped, different length, pin and welded, and all that stuff, recrowned and sent out. Well, instead of doing that, what we did is, instead of doing a custom shop, we are offering that as an option direct from the factory, right? So there's multiple different pin and weld options on the AK line, different colors, different accessories, different things on that to try and target that consumer in a sale versus offering like a custom option, right?
Right.
Now on the Saber line, we're doing it the same way. So we always offered like 14.5 or 14.7 pin and welds, but it was just with a bird cage, like a flash hider. I'm a big suppressor guy. I only shoot suppressed. So I wanted to have options on my Saber line to have multiple pin and weld options. So right now there's like probably 15 to 20 different SKUs just on the Saber line that have Surefire War Comp suppressor mounts, ASR silencer co suppressor mounts, AAC, dead air chemo. We're trying to get into that kind of half custom, half mass producible mindset, but I don't think we'll ever will be able to have literally a custom shop where a customer can go in and be like, I want this barrel, this rail, this.
Yeah.
We'll try to offer it and combat it that way versus one-offs at a time.
Sure.
Heather,
Josiah has to leave.
Yes.
To let everybody know he is out of here. So Josiah, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. And thank you again for allowing me to be a partner with you guys and an affiliate with Palmetto State, because I love you guys so much. It's so great.
Thank you, Heather.
So,
we appreciate it. All right.
All right, you take care.
Thanks for letting the adults talk now, Josiah. I see you.
Bye. Okay, so it's funny you mentioned AAC. Shad's continued the question and said, now that they're stood up, what's next? So I will let you answer that question just because you mentioned it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we have, we launched AAC with 9mm and 5.56. We then since then have came out with 300 blackout, which we have 300 blackout subs, 300 blackout supers, like across the board, different types of subs, different types of projectiles. We now expanded into 45 ACP. So we have 45 ACP out there. We have 5.7 by 28. Obviously, that was a big deal for us because we have our Rock handgun that's 5.7 by
Right.
28. So we wanted to have the opportunity to have the ammo because, again, that was a contentious point with the whole 5.7 line. Well, ammo got expensive because it was limited. So now we're mass producing that. So there's that. We will have probably I think a 10 millimeter option here shortly. So we'll have 10
Wow.
and then the big thing that everyone is asking is the steel case ammo, right? And that goes back to the
Right.
AK conversation, right? So
Didn't you show a picture of some steel casing the other day?
So we had it, yes. So we had at our that little video, that was the projectiles being made.
Okay.
So yeah, that was I think it was the projectiles being made. I can't remember. I know which one you're talking about, but the goal is to have our steel case line up and running by the fall. Like that is our goal, right?
That's
And
awesome.
So that is, we see what is happening in the AK community where you can't get 5.45 by 39 anymore unless you want to spend like $1 a round. 7.62 by 39 3 years ago was under 30 cents a round. Now, if you're going to find
It's over 60, right?
it's 60, 65, 70 some places,
Yeah.
right? Like it's really hard to get that ammo too. And there's no more coming in, right?
No.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
So whatever's in the
So it's just going to get more expensive. Yeah.
It's gonna get more expensive. So like we see the writing on the wall, right? And we even see that with like our AK sales, right? Like our AK sales used to be really, really high. And I'm not saying they're bad now, but you could see it tapered off with
What's the point of buying a gun if I can't ever get the ammo for it, right?
Exactly. And so during COVID, right, like everyone 5.56 got expensive as hell, right? So everyone started buying more AKs, which then again now leads into more people buying more AK ammo. And so now that the ammo is pretty much it's still there. So I don't want to say non-existent, but it is very limited and more expensive. So it's not like people are being more like, oh, well, I don't want to go shoot it today because I don't want to spend, waste the ammo type of thing. So
Sure.
the steel case is going to be a big deal for us. So, obviously it'll probably start with 7.62 by 39, and then it'll be 5.45 by 39. And then I think the plan still is to do some 7.62 by 54R as well. So for a lot of guys who bought the Mosin Nagants back in like 2006 for $100 a piece, that's for those guys.
Gotcha.
But I mean, there's going to be other ammos in there. I think we'll have 308, we'll have 6.5 Creedmoor, we'll have 6.5 Grendel too. I think is going to be coming as well. So I mean, we're pretty much going to be hitting all the main ammo that's out there that's giving people problems or they can't find or is too expensive.
Sure.
So for the longest time to get like a 77 grain match grade ammo, you're spending $30 for $35 a box.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
They're selling it for $10.99 a box.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if you guys are going to make a VSS clone.
I don't want to say no, but what I will say that non-AR, handgun side for the AK side and that kind of stuff, we are going to be focusing right now is the Crink. We were going to try and have it out at the end of the first quarter. We had some tooling changes that we had to make, which then changing tooling is about a 12 to 30 week lead time. So like there's things take time. So obviously we wanted to have it out now and it's not ready yet. So I mean, that's like one of the main questions we get all the damn time is where's the Crink? Where's Crink? Where's Crink? Right. So the Crink is going to be next. And then after the Crink, we're going to have our RPK. Those are probably the two AKs that you'll see out for sale by the end of the year. But it's not just going to be a 5.45 Crink or a 7.62 by 39 RPK. We're going to
be all of them.
5.56, 7.62 by 39. So there'll be multiple versions of each one of those guns in this year. But then we have also like one-offs. So like I was telling you, like my job is I do a lot of one-offs and little random things. So we'll have like a 5.56 adjustable AK here soon for like the people that want to shoot suppressed and all that good stuff. So our goal though, like right now for the next like 3-4 months is to try and push more 5.56 AKs because the ammo's there. And so we're trying to get more people to buy that and buy into that. One of the biggest complaints you get all the time on the 5.56 AK side is the mags. There's not 5.56 AK mags readily available everywhere.
Sure.
So we have our own mag coming, I think probably next week. So,
That's awesome.
provide that to the market. And it's a really nice quality mag too. It's not just like a, plastic mag. It's going to be, metal reinforced in all the right places. So it's going to be a really nice mag, but it's going to be available and affordable at an everyday price.
See, that was one of the things that people, like, at least that I heard complaining about the 5.56 AK, was that the mags were just so expensive. Like, you can't find them, and then when you can, they're outrageous.
Yeah,
So,
so like the only mag that you can like really readily buy right now is kind of like an AC Unity mag.
right,
And so that's really the only option unless you want to spend like $60-$70 on a Circle 10 5.56 mag. And
right,
so we'll have our own mag. I think it'll probably be about $25, nothing crazy, but at the same time, it's going to be like metal reinforced. So it's going to be a really nice quality mag, right? So
sure,
obviously, if we wanted to just go a cheap, like fast route, we could have went with non-metal reinforced and all that stuff, but we didn't want that. We wanted to have a metal reinforced feed lifts. We wanted to have metal reinforced spine on the front and the back, a metal reinforced base. Like we went overboard on this mag to make sure it was a good mag.
you should do a really good bundle, wink, wink, for those affiliates to sell
Yeah.
where
Well,
you unload it and then you get the gun and 5 mags for this price.
Well, we do. You see a lot of the bundles we do, right? We do a lot of like 10 mags
Oh,
in a
yeah,
bundle deal. So I'm sure we'll have something like that soon. I mean,
for sure.
it's just a matter of getting enough mags in production first, right? So,
Yeah,
it's going to take a couple months, probably maybe about a month or so to get enough mags out there. Then I'm sure you'll see some of that.
awesome. Okay. Everybody keeps giving me shit, and I'm sure you get it too. The fucking MP7 and MP5.
Yep.
Like, they're like, if you don't ask, if you don't say it, we're going to be mad at you. So,
Comments. So, all right. So let's touch base on the MP5 first, right? So the whole goal when we talked about launching the MP5 was to give an MP5 at an affordable price to the consumer. Basically, what we wanted to do was not going to be obtainable at the price point we talked about doing it as. So we decided to take the money that we were setting aside for the MP5 and invest it in the ammo plan.
gotcha.
So we thought that it would be more beneficial to make ammo than to make another MP5 on the market.
Right.
And that's kind of that in a nutshell. I don't know where the hell all these people get this idea that there was an MP7 ever even talked about. So, but I see it on like literally every comment.
Every post, every
post, every PSA post, or anytime someone tags PSA and something, it's like, where's MP7, right?
yeah.
I will say this. Behind this wall is my actual office. There is a big draw white erase, a big board in there, and there are a lot of guns on that board. So I'll just say that. I just can't give you guys that's like, there's a lot going on.
I thought maybe I was going to get an exclusive there for a second.
There is a lot. So there's a lot on the whiteboard. The issue that we have is, again, we can make anything, but we can't make everything.
Right. Makes sense. Somebody said a 380 AR platform. I know it seems stupid, but I honestly want one. I'm
not even gonna comment on it. Like that. That is such a Twitter question. It's not even funny. Like, legit, that is a straight up Twitter question.
Absolutely. Okay, so this question is interesting. Are there any plans to open up other stores? If not, shipping or distribution in other states to position yourselves against state laws that can target operations of your size. So I'm going to couple this kind of secondarily with another question. Someone said, are you guys going to open up in Texas so that you guys can manufacture in-house suppressors? No.
So our entire so the JJE Capital, right, is our parent company, right? And I guess kind of like a little bit of a backstory before I dip into this question, so that way we can get some context here, right? So JJE Capital is not just a random company that is a board of directors that tells PSA what to do, right?
Right.
JJE Capital is the 3 owners, right? So you got Jamie McCallum, who is the founder and owner of PSA, and then you have Julian, and then you have Ed. That's what JJE stands for, okay? Julian and Ed were the ones who bought out Josiah's shares, okay? So those 3 are the owners of the company, right? It's not just some random board members and all that stuff, right? So that is the parent company. Under that parent company, you have PSA, you have DPMS, you have AAC, among other companies that you guys probably don't know of or know that we're a part of yet, right? And I can't spill the beans on everything, but there's a lot underneath that, right?
Cameron, why are you even on here if you're not going to tell me everything?
So we have
I'm just kidding.
companies that we own that are in Minnesota. We have companies that we own in North Carolina. We have companies we own in South Carolina.
Gotcha.
Georgia,
Sure.
Florida, right? Like across the entire, like mainly our focus is Southeast, right? So that's
right.
Like where, right? So we just opened up another retail location, which is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We had our soft opening last Wednesday. Our official grand opening is June 1st. So I will say that to supply those stores with our product, we want them to be within a drivable distance.
Sure.
Right. So I don't say, like, right now we don't have any retail stores in Florida. We have manufacturing facilities in Florida that we acquired that are down there, but I wouldn't put it past us to have something there because we have trucks that drive back and forth down 95 all day long. And so I don't see us anytime in the near future going outside the Southeast. But again, I've seen crazier things happen within this company, so I can't make any promises. So you want me to finish the topic about relocations and stuff? So,
yes.
So basically, in a nutshell, I don't see us moving out of the Southeast anytime soon because the goal is to be within a drivable distance, to be able to take product from our location to that location easier, more efficiently, and cost effectively. So I'm not saying 10 years from now we might be over across the entire United States. That could happen. But, our goal right now is to just be able to focus on the Southeast and what we have going on right now.
I already told you guys have Amazon of firearms. You guys will be everywhere eventually.
Yeah. I mean, our biggest, our business model is online, right? So like our retail stores are not small.
Sure.
And like I said, the Myrtle Beach store that we just opened is our biggest store, and we're going to have a museum there. So Jamin is a huge gun collector and he loves guns and he loves history. And so we're going to have a really nice museum set up there, like with all the cool antique guns and machine guns and things like that for people to see.
So I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how I kind of like flirted with the idea of you coming on my show. I'm like, we're practically family. I'm from Charleston. So like, and I can't remember, and I feel terrible now. The little guy who runs your all's Twitter,
Neil?
Yes, that's him. And I was like, you should totally come on my show. Like and he said, I'll pass it up to the powers that be. So
yeah, Neil's a good dude. I like him. He is super based.
That was one of the questions. It was like, how did they become so based? And I was like, that is such a nerdy question to ask on a podcast, but okay.
I literally send him screenshots all the time, and I'm like, dude, you're so based. I can't even do it.
He was at NRA, right? Yeah, I thought I met him.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He helps us out a lot because I manage a lot of like the groups and the things like that we have. We have like probably like 8 Facebook groups for like a lot of different product lines. So I'm like an admin and in a lot of those groups. So like I just don't have time to do everything, right?
It's hard.
Yeah. So like, I'm still here working with my guys in the shop, like in the manufacturing. I'm still technically over manufacturing, but I'm still doing like all these other stuff. So like I'm helping out a lot here. So, sometimes I need a break too. But, I like to give people, I think something that's helped us over the past couple of years is giving people a face to the company and a face to the name and stuff. And so that's why I'm not using like our PSA account to comment back or talk to people because I want them to know who we are. Like, I'm just a gun guy that likes to build guns. Like that's what I like to do for a living. I want to have the connection with them, and that's why I'm sending down for the Farmageddon a saber for them to shoot. Like I want all y'all to go down there and run the piss out of it and have a good time and see that we're making something like badass, right?
Legit,
like
yeah.
That's the whole mindset.
Yeah. So this question is worded kind of interesting. It says any type of gun policy promo on their website, ? Donation options. I'm not really sure if they're asking, like, do you guys ever work with them? Do you ever partner with them on anything?
We do. So we did a lower with the Gun Owners of America not that long ago.
It's still available, I think. And then you guys have another lower. Hint, hint, everybody, use the QR code, go look. They have another lower that $10 from the purchase of that lower goes towards the lawsuit to get rid of all of this stupid fucking legislation that they're trying to pass through, or the rules.
Exactly.
It's not even legislation anymore.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Like the whole brace lower and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like the guys at SB Tactical, obviously we do a lot of business with them, so we really like those guys, and obviously the whole thing is a bunch of crock of shit anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, we try to do things. I mean, we do a lot of stuff with like Sonoran Desert Institute. Like we do a lot of stuff with those guys. Now we don't put it in there as like donate to this or donate to that really a lot. Now I think you're going to see over the next probably year, you might see some of that, just because of where we are politically in the country and what's going on. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff coming along those lines. We're going to be doing our own podcast in-house to kind of try and bring, I guess it kind of goes back to some of the questions we talked about earlier. Like, I want it to be a firearms community podcast, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to bring the community together, and I want to be that focus on it. So we'll be starting that over the summertime, to really bring people on and talk about things, to discuss what's going on in the world, where we're at, what's going on with this, like how can we help, what can we do together, and really kind of just, bring everybody together.
Yeah. It's funny because I went to NRA. That was my first time that I've ever been there. And the NRA has
Hold on. Tell me when you were walking around. That was the first time I've been there. And I don't know if I should say this or not, but it felt like a Fox News commercial as you were walking around. There was like gold and silver for sale everywhere. There's like people like dressed up in old military uniforms and shit. Like, I swear to God, I was walking around. I sent a video to my wife. I was like, look I'm on a Fox News commercial. There's
it's no shit, dude. Yes.
Everyone's wearing Let's Go Brandon shirts and shit. It was
so
funny.
I'm working on, so I've been writing this article. It's taking me forever to get it out, but the article is the NRA has an image problem. And what I mean by that, so it was crazy because like you have expectations in your mind of what you're going to get. Yeah. Was futtery there? Absolutely. It was everywhere. Buy gold, buy silver. Here's this concealed carry Western boot with a blow dryer and there was lots of futtery there.
Fox News commercial.
Yes, yes.
Fox News commercial.
Yep, absolutely.
The only thing we were missing was the My Pillow guy.
But legitimately, it is the only, because SHOT Show is closed off to the public now.
Exactly.
The NRA convention is the closest that the consumer can get to the manufacturers, can get to touch the next latest and greatest that may be coming out. That's it. And the sad part is that the NRA has created a reputation of being like old school and whatever. Some of the shit that I was able to lay my hands on at NRA was fucking amazing. Like, it was so awesome. And to have my daughter experience that. Yep. And it's so sad because if I would have put out like, oh, you guys should come to NRA with me, they'd be like, no, it's fucking stupid. I don't want to go to that. And that's a huge fucking problem.
It is.
And when you're talking about where we are politically as a country right now, wouldn't it be awesome? And I want to be careful about how I say this, but wouldn't it be awesome if we were the monster that they thought we were? Wouldn't it be amazing if we were this massive fucking powerhouse community of people that are untouchable?
Yeah.
Just leave us the fuck alone. We're going to arm ourselves and there's not a fucking thing you can do about it. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
And so like, I think about that all the time. I think about like, what if the minds of gun policy, the money of the NRA, the production value of PSA, what if we could get everyone to work together and it would be the animal that they're all afraid of? And that's what I want.
That goes back again to the point we talked about in the beginning with the firearms community. Instead of trying to be like this, that, or the other, fucking figure it out together. Like, that's the only way we win this shit, right? But we also got to do it with a new age mindset, not an old school mindset, right?
Right.
Like, that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's like you got to adapt to what is happening now. This isn't the 80s anymore. This isn't the 90s anymore. This is social media mindset. This is Gen Z. This is like, how do we get that mindset now in the
Sure.
firearms community, right?
Yep. And well,
Yeah.
I will let you finish that one, and then I'm not gonna go any further with it.
Yeah.
It says 20-inch saber with fixed stock win.
I mean, I could do it. I could do so. I've been getting a lot of comments asking about a 20-inch FN cold hammer forged barrel, which we don't ever like get enough of those for and the price they are for from FN. Most of our stuff we get from FN is 16-inch and 14s and 10.7s or 10.5s. And so I could do it. I can do it. I'll do it.
Maybe we do just a short run, like you were talking about,
Yeah,
and see if we
I
can
could
get some.
do
Yeah,
like the thing for me is the only way that I'd be able to do it would be what we currently use for our Saberline, which is a 20-inch 223 wild barrel. Which a lot of the guys that are asking for that are not asking for it in that version, but that would be the only way I could do it. But I could definitely
sure.
have an option of it.
Okay. Says how about a PCC in 7.5 millimeter FK, something similar to an MP5 with interchangeable 10 millimeter, 7.5 millimeter barrels would be incredible. Even more so if it was affordable. I don't think that's doable, but
What?
yeah,
No, I mean like that's a lot to unpack. No, I mean there's some there. We are going to do a lot of. I think we're going to do I think we will do some cool stuff around the 5.7 round, and
yeah.
we'll have some cool stuff coming with that.
How are you guys doing with the rock? Like I feel like that's like the next step. Like we're gonna see the 5.7 really challenge the 9 millimeter market.
Yeah, I mean, I think like so we'll have a 5.7 compact coming out, and I think that's what's going to change the 5.7 market. The 5.7 we have now, the Rock is a bigger gun, so we'll have the compact coming, and so that'll be a night like you could easily conceal carry that firearm,
Yeah.
and so I think that's gonna be a big deal. I think what we're doing on like the Jackal side of things, like with the way that monolithic upper is, and that
Yep.
we'll be able to have some really cool stuff based off of that. I have a on the Saber line, we launched it with the AR-15, right? Because that's what we do, and so we're also gonna have our Saber 308s coming very very soon. So we'll have something like this in a Saber 308
God, it looks
coming
so
very
good.
soon. And then we will have a Saber Jackal coming soon, and we'll have Saber KS-47, Saber ARB. So we're gonna basically, the Saber, when we first talked about doing Saber, it was obviously ARs, but what we saw with the feedback we were getting was that people wanted a different, unique option versus what they can just buy every day. So we're going to
Sure.
take that Saber mindset and make a Saber line across the board. We'll
Right.
even have like a Saber dagger and everything, right? It's going to be more of a higher end models, but I think we lay the foundation with what we do every day, and then we give customers and consumers more options to go to the next level.
Sure. When are we getting more carry handle uppers?
They are trying. That's all I can say. Like the H&R team, those guys, they're doing a really really good job of trying to get that stuff out into the market. And it's just Mike Wetland, who runs H&R. He was the former owner of Nodak Spud, and so this is like he is super passionate, I will say, and I'll use that word for what he does. So like
Right.
he literally, and those guys are in there are like hand deburring things, hand polishing things, like making the stuff perfect to get to the consumer, and that stuff takes time. I mean,
Yeah.
it just does. And so obviously they're coming and we sell them every day, and we're getting more every day. But at the same time, like the mindset of where we're at, we want to make sure they're all perfect. So when that happens, it's hard to scale. And
Yeah.
so, like the AR side, the AK side, we figured out how to scale and mass produce a lot of that stuff. Even like some of the Saber stuff. I mean, some stuff takes a long time to build. It's not just like throwing it together like adult Legos. Like this gun right behind me here, that has a timed barrel nut. And so you have to like literally screw the handguard on it doesn't just slide on like a normal handguard. You have to thread it and screw it onto the barrel nut and torque it down and time it and use shim. Like the stuff is more difficult than just adult Legos like ARs.
I know, and I think sometimes, you know, people have grown so accustomed to you guys being so accommodating to your clientele that they forget what it takes or what goes into some of this. Like, this isn't just where they're taking custom orders where, hey, you want this, and they're just do, here's your order out to you. Like, you guys are still a large manufacturing company. Like, they need to take that into consideration. But
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, again, it's all mass producible, right? That is the
sure,
mindset, right? And that's like the key buzzword, right? So it's like, okay, well, we can build one of anything, but how do we build enough of everything?
sure,
It's hard. You have to balance that, right? Like, trust me, like, back to Shad's comment about the custom shop. I'd love to be able to do that, right? And I'd love to be able to do that, especially on the AK side, where it's like, I want this gas block with this trunnion, with this trigger. Like, I'd love to be able to do that. It is just not beneficial for us. So that's why we just went and said, okay, well, we're going to have a variety and
yeah,
we're going to give you as close to everything that we think we can offer in a mass producible format, right?
sure.
It's more beneficial to us.
Do you think that at some point in time, like down the road, do you think that you guys could do that digitally where like I can go on Nike's website and I can design a shoe where they like write my name on the back of it and it's all custom, but you pay a fucking fortune for it, where if it was just straight from the store, I'd pay $60, but I'm
Yeah.
actually going to pay $300.
Yeah.
Would
So
you
like,
guys ever see that being something where like if somebody's willing to really legitimately pay the price?
I don't want to say no,
Yeah,
but
probably
probably
not.
not. So like again, like kind of like what I did on the Saber line is like, for instance, last Friday we launched like we did a whole bunch of SKUs with Geisley handguards and FM barrels, right? Well,
Right.
it's the same barrel, same rail, same upper, same BCG, same charging handle, but what we did is we have 5 different options for a suppressor mount on the front of it, right?
Right.
So, but we build like 50 of each of them, right? So it's not like you're building one, you're building 50 of each, right? And
Yeah.
so, like the way we do our website, we don't do where we just put every SKU in stock and you buy it and then we build to order. We build everything and it's in stock physically. So that way, when you buy it, it ships faster, right? And
Sure.
that's how we were able to get around like a lot of the Washington and the Illinois stuff, right? We're pushing that stuff to the front of the line because it's physically in stock and we're getting it out right away, right? Like we don't
Right.
have these like some companies just have like everything available on their website, and then when someone buys it, it creates like a work order, and then they go out to the shop, pull it, build it, whatever, and it goes out. But ours is it's already built, it's done, it's over now. Sometimes it's
Which is why
obviously
it's at your FFL in fucking 2 days.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so and obviously we've done a lot over the last couple of years because a lot of people were complaining, oh, the shipping time's 10 to 15 days. That's ridiculous because the Amazon mindset, right? You order, you want it in 2 days, right? We still have that, right? That's a part of who we are as a consumer now. Is I want it
Sure.
now. I paid for it. I want it right now, right? But at the end of the day, also, these are firearms. So,
Yeah.
things take time. And so, especially going to an FFL, we got to make sure we have it on file and check things and verify. And so,
Compliance and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. I love compliance.
Would like to know if they've considered making any youth models. I actually really like this question. I'm curious if you guys have thought about doing that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, obviously, absolutely, we've thought about it. It's a matter of what we want to do with it, right? I mean, I think
Right.
we have some cool stuff that's going to be coming. I think that we're going to, like this year for SHOT Show was the first year, and I've been here since the company's that I've been here, that we didn't announce 90% of the stuff we had at SHOT Show until SHOT Show happened, right? We
Right.
kept everything under wraps that we were working on, okay?
Yeah.
What I will say for the SHOT Show in 2023, there's a lot of cool stuff coming that is going to be like 50 state legal type option stuff, and in that mindset, some of that stuff could potentially be what you're talking about.
Sure. Okay. Still not going to tell me everything, and I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. Why do you hate my wallet so much? I got shit yesterday. I was like, they said, Heather, you're killing my bank account. When are they releasing the 15 round mags for Glock 48 they showed at SHOT Show?
That's the micro dagger mag. That is, I don't know, hopefully a month.
Okay.
I would say sometime this summer.
Okay. This sounds like a very passive aggressive message. Why won't they ship perfectly legal firearms and parts to Massachusetts? Don't live in a liberal hellhole, and you would probably get more firearms. That's the only thing I'm going to say.
I don't even. I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, it's okay. So let's talk about that for just a second real fast, because I want to give you guys some major props, and I wish I would have done this before Josiah left. And I know I don't have you for a much longer. I've kept you for a long time, but the work that you guys did in Washington before Inslee signed the bill into law, and the work that you're now doing in Illinois, it was immediate. The judge issued the stay in the injunction, I guess, on Friday. By Monday, you guys were already shipping out.
We were shipping out Friday night.
Okay, even better.
So we were
taking the orders.
The injunction happened. Literally 30 minutes later, we opened up the Illinois sales back onto the website. And so, we were taking orders all weekend for Illinois. And then Monday, it was like, okay, now we have to react and get these out the door as soon as possible because there might be a stay put in or something that happened. So we need to get them out, right? So there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes where, it's a lot of pants on fire, trying to get the stuff out the door right away, right? Like I said, kind of back to the point about availability on the website, right? Like a lot of times it's like, hey, this is in stock, ready to go. But in some other instances, it's like, hey, we're going to build this today. It's going to be in stock, at 4:30 this afternoon. It might not be physically out all the way through QC or whatever, but it'll be there within a couple hours, right? But when that happens, like Washington, me and some of my guys will go through, mainly it's the supervisors and the manufacturing managers now that took over the shop for me, so I can work on this brand stuff. It's those guys are out there literally with orders in their hands that are coming in live, going out there, getting the gun, walking it to test fire, walking it to the quality, walking it to packing, walking it to the truck and getting it on the truck and getting it out. Like that is how serious we are about getting these firearms and freedom out to our customers. Like these, like, it's not just like some random person. Like we have like leaders, like managers, supervisors, directors, out there getting product on the truck. Funny story, during Freedom Week of California, when that happened, we all worked, I don't know, 15, 16 hours. That was the MAG thing in California. We pulled all of the supervisors and leaders and managers and stuff from manufacturing, and we all helped out in the distribution center. Jamin, the owner of the company, is out there packing boxes with us, wearing penny loafers, getting blisters on his feet. His wife is out there with us. Miss Deborah is out there with us packing orders. I'm out there picking orders. I'm out there doing this stuff to get this stuff on the cutoff date on the truck by the time it needs to ship. And that right there is kind of who we are as a company. It's not just, our standard guys, like, not saying anything against them, but we are invested at the leadership role into taking care of our customers to the fullest extent. Like I'm telling you.
Do you guys have, just to know kind of the inner workings, because you are dealing with tons of fucked up legislation, and so like it would be great if everything that you produced was 50 state legal, so you guys wouldn't have to field all these stupid questions from people who are like, can this go to California? Can this, and like 90% of the shit cannot go to California. But do you guys have like in-house legal counsel that's constantly like monitoring the different state laws so that you guys are in compliance? How does that work for you?
So we have like legal counsel, obviously, but so Jamin, the owner's wife, is the chief of compliance. So when he started the company, she kind of took over the legal, like, compliance side, studying that side, and she does a fantastic job at what she does.
Yeah.
And so, but she has a team of people under her on the compliance side that handle, like we have a director of compliance and those guys and compliance managers and stuff, and we have people directly that update the website in real time or like change, tweak things, like edit the code or whatever on the back end to be able, like all that stuff. So we are like real time, like, like if something comes down,
Yeah.
we can go in, do whatever we need to do, boom, 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 then we're done, right? But yes, I mean, we do have a legal counsel, right? I mean, obviously, we're a big enough company that we should have that, right? So we do.
Sure.
But then we also have a lot of people in here that's what they do for a living for our company. They study the compliance side of things. They know not every answer right away, but they know how to do the research. They know how to do this. Like a couple of the guys, I
Sure.
just had a compliance conference in Atlanta. So a couple of the team went down there and they were there for 3 or 4 days dealing with that, learning about this, learning about that, like constantly involved of what's going on.
Is that hard for you guys, like the fluid change, like as that's moving? And then I also want to ask like a secondary question to that. So there are three factors, and I don't want to get like I do run a political show, and I don't want to like force you into the muck.
Yep.
But I'm curious just about this a little bit. So are you starting to see kind of a national divorce type situation where you're shipping almost exclusively to certain states because other states either A, aren't purchasing it, or they're just giving up because they know it's not available to them? Or are you still seeing a large number of people asking for items that they just can't get because they're in a state where it's not eligible? Does that
I
make
mean,
sense?
yeah, so I'll say this. So the way that our website works, if there is something that they cannot purchase in their state, it will not allow them to purchase it.
Okay, nice.
So, but that doesn't exclude the people to comment on every post saying, you're not supporting the Second Amendment because you're not shipping legal gun parts to Massachusetts, right? Like,
Right.
shit like that, right? Which obviously in a perfect world, we'd love to, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And so,
Right.
and there's also a lot of things that people don't understand what the backside of some stuff is, right?
Right.
So sometimes you have to, if something can be interpreted, and that's the dumb shit with some of the laws being passed, it's like up to interpretation, or it's this could be used in this, but really it's meant for this, but you can actually use it for this. So then now what, right? What do you
Right.
do with that sense, right? And our job, the compliance team's job, is to protect our company, right?
Right.
Like we have over 1,000 employees that we have to make sure that they can go home and put food on their table for their family. And that is,
Absolutely.
that is our job. And at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Yep. Um, so this one says, what are they doing to improve their QA QC processes as they warranty return? I think that was a mistake on as they receive data from warranty returns.
Yeah.
Love them, but the last two purchases have had to go back. So are you guys working on the QC stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single day, and obviously, hey, I'm sorry you had some issues. Obviously, if you need anything, I commented on her post today. I'm Cameron Tapler on there. Shoot me a DM. I'll take care of you. I'll go out of my way to help you out. I commented on it today, so absolutely, I'd help you out. But absolutely, I mean, the volume that we're doing, right? Obviously, we don't ever want to send out a bad gun. That is not our intent. That is not what we want to do. We take
Sure.
pride in what we do every single day. And honestly, when I took over QC 3 or 4 years ago, I feel like from where we were then to where we are now, I mean, even then is like every week we're constantly getting better. Over the last couple years, we took a really big focus in on what we do. We have a giant incoming quality lab now, and so there's scanning devices, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, we had some equipment back 4 or 5 years ago, but like just the way that technology is now and the way you can do things now has evolved, which helped us kind of do the same thing.
Sure.
Obviously, we're not perfect, but I will say this, like our repair / warranty rate that we have is really low.
Low.
You know, for
That's what I
instance,
was
like
going to say. That's the first time I've actually ever heard anybody
yeah, no, I mean,
complain, but I
we
didn't want him to be like, you didn't ask my question because it was
no, it's
negative.
all good. No, listen, like I told you in the beginning, we are not perfect. I don't say
Yeah.
we are perfect, but it's about what you do to be better, right? And that's
Yeah.
one of my biggest things is how do we get better every day? We absolutely look at every single repair. So just for a fun fact for everyone listening and you, in our production meeting that we have every morning, which has Jamin, the owner of the company, in it, bunch of directors, production staff, planners, all this stuff. We literally go over every single repair line at a time that came in the day before.
Wow.
So every single one of us from the low to the high are invested in every single firearm that comes back in, right? We have added additional staffing on the sustaining side. So we have a sustaining engineering team that we have about 4 or 5 guys that are solely dedicated to helping out the shop floor, quality, fixing, diagnosing problems and all this stuff, just to try and continuously get better. That is our goal, is to continuously improve every single day.
Yeah.
So we like I said, again, we're not perfect, but for example, for the amount of firearms we produced yesterday, which was probably closer to 3,000 to 3,500 firearms produced yesterday, we got in 7 repairs.
That's awesome.
And I know then when I say that stuff, then someone's always like, yeah, but how many people are fixing it on their own? Okay. All right. But think about the numbers,
You can
right?
control that. Yeah.
Yes. Think about the numbers. And I will say this, and not to kind of like throw shade at anyone, but a lot of the repairs that we get in every day
Our
are
user
customers.
error.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, some of it is our stuff. Like, and by all means, I'm again not saying we're perfect,
Sure.
right? But we will make it right. That's what we do.
Yeah. That's why I love you guys. Okay, just a couple more questions and then I'm gonna let you go.
Yep.
Micro Dagger, we've already talked about.
Yep.
Open store in Texas suppressors, talked about that already.
Yep.
Oh, this was a really good question. It says, can I come there and build a rifle with your help? Because it's been a really long time since I actually put one together. Do you have any forward facing, like, could they go to the store in Myrtle Beach and assemble one with you guys, or how does that work?
We talked about doing it at one point. I'd love to be able to offer it. I'd love
You
to be
guys
able
should
to
do
offer
some
it.
classes or something out of the store.
I know. The problem is, I wouldn't say it's a problem. How do I word this?
Maybe there's legal ramifications there. Is that?
There are some,
okay?
Right? There are some, but you could get around it, right? You can make everyone do a 4473 on the firearm before you build it and things like that, right? Like,
Sure.
There's ways to get around it, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot. So like the retail stores, like a lot of those guys, they're retail employees, right? So
Oh yeah, you're right.
I'm not saying that they're not knowledgeable, right? Or
right.
They don't know how to do it, right? But you would almost have to have it someone dedicated from like a manufacturing background or something like that to go there and schedule a class and do that. And there's just a lot going on. Like, I mean, that's just, I'm not gonna bullshit the answer. I mean, there's a lot going on, right? Like,
right.
I mean, like,
well, okay. So then let me do this. There are tons of gun videos out there, but it would be really cool if you guys are going to start this podcast. It would be awesome if you guys would do a full build from start to finish on a video of your own products.
Can't put it on YouTube.
Put it on Rumble.
So let me lay out the next.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like be dismissive.
No. So let me lay out the next 6 months, okay? So as far as stuff that I'm working on, right? So the goal is to start a podcast, right? The goal is to release a podcast bi-weekly, right? That's going to be our goal, right? Now, obviously, I'm building guns and coming up with new shit. So like, I don't know if that's realistic or not.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have a morning show every day, and it does not happen every day.
Right. So that is the goal, bi-weekly, right? So twice a month. In the off weeks, the goal would be to release content.
Sure.
And that content would be based around, hey, we're launching this new.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Lock-up handguard that threads onto the barrel nut, and we're going to do an installation video on YouTube to show you how to do it and how does it work, right? things like that. That is going to be what we're going to be doing a lot of
Yeah.
in the near future. So, obviously a lot of the comments I see on social media and around the different people talking is, hey, you guys have, a YouTube, but you never post shit on there, right? Well, we're going to start doing better at that. We're going to start doing things like that, I mean,
Sure.
and sharing them, not just on YouTube, but like you said, Rumble and some of these other places. But again, the problem is, so we actually, obviously with the whole YouTube shit that happened in the last like couple months, like, if you attach a suppressor, it's like, we're going to take your videos down, like things like that. So we
Yeah.
actually had a bunch of our videos taken down because in the past, our old marketing guy, he did a bunch of videos on like how-tos and things like that. And all those videos kept getting struck down like a year after they were posted.
Right.
And so we were getting like close to getting our account wiped out of YouTube. Right. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we're going to have a lot of videos showing like how to do this or how to do that, or how do we do this and things like that. That'll be coming in the near future.
Awesome. And then it said, oh, that's the MP5 question. Will PSA enter the suppressor market and bring inexpensive suppressors to the masses?
So we own AAC, right? Not PSA, right? So
Right.
the JG Capital owns the AAC suppressors. So I mean, there they are. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not going to happen, but now if they said tomorrow that you can do a 4473 on a suppressor and not have to do a Form 4 or whatever, then absolutely, I think we would tool up the next day to start making suppressors immediately.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, I mean that's their wheelhouse, so we're gonna let them guys handle that.
Okay, just kidding. I've got just a couple more questions because they
That's
came
fine.
in late.
Fire them off.
Oh, nope, just one more. It says, if I beg them enough, can they make a Jackal barrel in 350 Legend?
No.
Yep, nope, sorry.
No,
It's not going to
350
happen
Legend
for
is
you.
just not. It's like, not to sound like I'm being a dick, but it's just not.
Yeah.
We would sell probably one a week, and you would be
Right.
the only guy buying it. I mean, we had some other calibers coming in the Jackal, so we're gonna focus on that. But yeah.
So I'm going to personally ask you one more question to end the show. What are like the 3 things coming product-wise that you're most excited about?
Oh gosh. The Crink for sure, just because it's iconic, right? The way it looks and all that.
And so you'll quit getting bothered about it?
Yeah, no, that is absolutely an iconic thing. The 300 Blackout AK, because again, I'm a suppressor guy, so I love anything suppressed. Obviously 300 Blackout is a great suppressed round. It's what I hunt with. It's again, I don't shoot guns if they're not suppressed. I'm bougie, and so I love.
He's
that.
one of those gatekeepers in the gun community, you guys.
Yeah, no, I won't judge you if you want to shoot it, but at the same time, I don't want to have to worry about packing Hearing Pro in my truck because my
Right.
kids take shit in my truck and throw it out all the damn time. So I always just keep a suppressor with me. Let me
Right.
do that instead. No, and then my Saber 308 line that's coming. We got some really cool stuff coming on the Saber 308 line. We're gonna have like guaranteed sub-FOA guns. We're gonna be doing some like not retro guns, but like some clone-ish type style, big bore caliber type guns.
Nice.
That's what you kind of can see right here, and you'll probably be the only person in public that's ever seen this, other than some people in here. But that gas block out there is not the gas block that's going to be coming on that. So anyone who watches this video is going to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we got some cool stuff coming. I mean, that would be my top 3. Obviously the RPK that's coming soon too. I'm a rifle guy. It's not that I don't like pistols, but I'm a hunter. I'm a big time hunter, so I hunt all the time. So I just was raised shooting long guns, and so I'm a long gun kind of guy. And AKs are kind of my baby, and so the Saber line's kind of my stuff too. So that's kind of like my focus. But again, I'm also excited. The podcast side of things, I'm going to be doing that. That's going to be me. You're going to be seeing me on that stuff.
That's awesome.
My goal is to give people that are our customers a face to who we are. what we
Right.
do, what we stand for. You know, like I told you in the beginning, we were laughing about it, is like, hey, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over. I'm 100% fucking serious about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I want people to know who we are and what we do, right? Like a lot of times, like people
Well, I
don't
mean,
even
just
know.
like that question just now about you guys getting in suppressors. Like they didn't even know that you guys are already in the
Right?
game there.
Or Caliber Coffee. People don't know that we're doing
Yeah.
coffee. People still don't know that we're doing ammo, right? So like
Right.
my goal when I do this podcast is I want people to I have a lot of like of my guys here and the people here that I work with every day that I want to bring on to tell their story, right?
Yeah.
And I want to be able to tell a story about who we are, what we stand for, where we're going, and where we're heading going into 2023 and beyond. And so, you know, I want to bring on a lot of the engineers to talk about their projects they're working on and give them like show off some stuff. Like, hey, like, you know, at SHOT Show you can see stuff, but that's only if you're really insider, right? And then like
Sure.
at NRA Show, we don't really bring all of our concept guns or stuff that we're working on that's a ways out. But like, hey, why don't you guys come on and let's talk about it, right? I
Right.
want to be able to give people a face to the name and get to know these people on a personal level, because at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of gun loving nuts here that love guns and love what
Yeah.
we do. And I want to project that out to people out there and be able for them to have a face to see what we're talking about and who we are. I want them to get to know us. I want them to think of us as more of like a buddy and like
Like
a
family
friend.
or a friend. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You know, I mean, because at the end of the day, I feel like we're normal people. I think there's like some companies out there, not just the firearms community, that are they're not personable. They're not this. They're just business. They're just
They're
in it to make money.
disconnected.
Yeah,
They're
like I mean, like our whole business model is to spread freedom and get as many firearms out into common use into the law-abiding citizens' hands, and that's what our job is. And we take that seriously. I mean, we have a sign in the shop that says "We build freedom," and so
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, so we take it seriously. I mean, that's kind of my focus. You know, I'm really excited about this podcast, and I want to push it out there. I want to bring in the firearms community. I don't want it to just be a PSA podcast, right? So like when
right.
I pitched it to the owners, I was like, hey, here's what I want to do, right? I want
Yeah.
to have a podcast. I want it to be the foundation to be a PSA podcast, but I want to bring people on. I want to bring on the Sonoran Desert Institute guys, the Gun Owners of America guys, some YouTubers, like, you know, bring the firearm industry on. Like, you know, we do a lot of business with like Vortex, like bring them on. Like, let's talk about
Yeah.
what you guys got coming up, and let's bring, you know, the Holosun guys and the SIG guys, and like, you know, I just want it to be a community firearms podcast, right? And I feel like there's not enough of that being talked about because, you know, everyone sometimes they want to talk crap or whatever, like we talked about earlier,
Sure.
you know, but I just want to grow the community together, because the only way we're ever going to survive this and keep pushing forward is if we come together as a team and really have one voice going forward. You know, it's okay
Absolutely.
to be different, and it's okay to have competition, right? Because that's what makes everybody better.
Makes it healthy. Yeah.
It's healthy. Yeah, 100%. And so I just want to kind of keep pushing us forward and not just PSA, but the firearms community, because I think without it, we'd be screwed as a country.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Couldn't agree more. Best way to end the show. You guys, you know who they are. My affiliate link, QR code up there. It'll also be in the show description if you want to go check them out and help me get credit, because then I can make Cameron come to Indiana Apocalypse in October and he'll get to forward face with you guys. So
yeah, I'd love to. If I can make it work with my 2 kids and my wife, I'd love to be there.
you bring them with you. We camp out, we eat food all weekend, we shoot guns. It's a lot of fun.
Hold on. My wife is not the camping type, okay?
Yeah, she will.
I got to say that quietly in case she listens to this. But she's not the camping type, okay? Is there going to be showers there? Is there no showers?
Yeah, she in the house. She can shower.
Okay, well then maybe I can get her to come.
Yeah. We got a camper she can stay in too. Yeah, we're good.
As long as she can watch her Bravo shows, she'll be happy.
All right, you guys take care. Have a wonderful day. Whatever time you're watching this. Cameron, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate what y'all do, and you know, we appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time.
No problem. You take care. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to be notified whenever we have another episode come up, please subscribe. We are available on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen. Please make it a great day in America. This is the country where few people leave, too many people want to enter, and dead people still vote. Take care.
Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition and go stay free.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me,
Give me liberty! Oh, give me death!